Thanks so much for joining us for CBN News Today. I'm Ephraim Graham. Well, you thought it was over and done with, but just like the villain in a horror movie, winter came back to wreak more havoc this week. Even though we are well into April, the old man seems determined to keep bringing the pain. Aldale Hurd has the story.
Perhaps we shouldn't be surprised that one of the worst winters in memory returned for an encore. This 750-foot cargo ship lies beached this morning in Virginia's Chesapeake Bay after 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts pulled it off its anchor overnight. The same system brought snow to New York City and other parts of the Northeast overnight, dropping temperatures by as much as 40 degrees and bringing back the white powder that so many did not want to see again.
We don't want to hear that four-letter word that starts with an S.
Detroit shattered a 133-year-old snowfall record. The Buffalo area, 78 degrees a few days ago, found itself preparing for several inches of snow.
We'll probably be out plowing later tonight.
In the south, snow was falling on flowers already in bloom, and temperatures are hovering near freezing, and that's a real threat to crops.
Pretty much their most vulnerable time.
Farmers were out trying to protect their livelihoods.
But if we start dropping below 30, we're entering an extremely dangerous zone.
Fierce winds also created damage. In Georgia, a tree split a house in two, trapping 2 women inside.
I come out of the house and immediately heard the screams.
And damaging high winds near Philadelphia.
I thought it was tornado, so went back down to the basement.
And flooding from Michigan to New York to Vermont and states in between. World leaders, including President Obama, continue to blame the record-setting winter weather on global warming. But the U.S. has seen this kind of weather before, 200 years ago, during a period called Little Ice Age. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Nearly 300 people are still missing and 2 are confirmed dead after a ferry sank off the coast of South Korea. One eyewitness says he felt the ferry tilt and then crash into something. He said passengers were told to remain seated, but he didn't hear any messages telling them to abandon ship. Coast Guard crews tried to break into the ferry before it sank, attempting to save people trapped inside. It now rests on the ocean floor, about 100 feet underwater. The ferry was carrying 459 people. About 300 of them were high school students on a school trip. Ukraine's military engaged pro-Russian militia in eastern Ukraine Tuesday. Special forces retook a large airport, but insurgents continue to occupy government buildings in at least 10 cities. Meanwhile, there are reports that some Ukrainian troops are switching sides. A half-dozen military tanks rolled into the region flying Russian flags just one day after Kiev launched its anti-terrorist operation to restore authority. And some of the troops aboard said they were actually Ukrainian soldiers who were switching sides to join the separatists. Thousands of Russian troops are said to be stationed near the border with Ukraine. Many fear Moscow will push for even more aggressive military action. Back here in the U.S., the military must open all combat positions to women by January 2016. The move will give females the opportunity to serve on the front lines for the first time. But it seems not many women want the job. The most recent Army survey finds that only about 20% of female service members would choose to serve in a combat role. According to the Defense Department, women make up 15% of the country's military. There are some women, however, who are stepping up to serve on the front lines, hoping to see the military culture change. And as Caitlin Burke reports, these women are proving to be top performers and leaders.
At Fort Bragg, North Carolina, First Lieutenant Kelly Requa is making history.
I think it's a good job.
At her base, Requa is among the first female platoon leaders.
We're a unit that likes to pride ourselves on embracing diversity. There was no discussion really at all. Once you got there, the discussion stopped.
Ahead of the January 2016 deadline for all combat jobs to be open to women, scientists are studying the physical demands of being on the front lines, measuring strength, endurance, power, set benchmarks regardless of gender.
We want the best talent that we can possibly get. And these are exactly the same standards that we expect soldiers in basic training and in units to perform to each and every day.
Requa welcomes the challenge. She says that even though the guys in her platoon are stronger, in physical training, she can keep up no problem.
Anybody can be a platoon leader. Anybody can be a crew member as long as you can do the job.
For now, she's the only woman in her platoon. But later this spring, women will begin serving as crew members. Their job? Actually position the 4,000-pound cannons, zero in on the targets, and fire the rounds. For men, the integration of women into combat roles means a new focus on respect, team building, and sexual assault prevention. So far, Requa says there haven't been any problems. And more often than not, it seems the men in her platoon forget she's the only woman on the field. Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
A scare at the Boston Marathon site yesterday, exactly 1 year after the terror attack in 2013. Police found 2 abandoned backpacks near the finish line where the bombs exploded last year. Police evacuated the area and the bomb squad destroyed the bags. One of the bags contained a rice cooker. Police arrested the bag's owner on charges of possession of a hoax device, disturbing the peace and disorderly conduct. They have not yet released his identity. New York City's police department is shutting down a controversial unit dedicated to infiltrating Muslim communities. Muslim groups and civil liberties advocates applauded the decision. The demographics unit, created with the help of the CIA, gathered information in the places where Muslims lived, shopped, and worked, as well as played, placing informants in Muslim student groups and mosques and monitoring sermons. The unit also cataloged Muslims in New York who adopted new Americanized surnames. The program is the subject of 2 federal lawsuits. A new video shows what looks like the largest gathering of al-Qaeda militants in years. According to CNN, the footage shows the terrorist group's second-in-command, Nasra al-Wahashi, meeting openly with fighters and commanders in Yemen. Al-Wahashi heads al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula and has said he wants to attack the United States. The video started appearing on jihadist websites recently, drawing the attention of U.S. officials and global terrorism experts. U.S. officials say they believe the footage is authentic. No one has yet claimed responsibility for the deadly, massive bombing in Nigeria that killed more than 70 people Monday. Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan says all the evidence suggests the attack was the work of the Boko Haram terrorist group. Our Gary Lane has more.
Monday morning's bombing was the deadliest ever to hit the Nigerian capital of Abuja. The massive explosion occurred at a bus station during morning rush hour, killing at least 72 people and injuring 169 others. This man witnessed the bombing and says he initially thought a fuel tanker had exploded. Nigerian Victor Oladokun, CEO of 3D Global Leadership, was in Abuja at the time of the attack. He says a fearful, somber mood prevails in the capital city because no attack has occurred there for the past 4 years.
There has been a sense that Abuja is secure. Abuja is pretty much impregnable. That sense of hope and that sense of anticipation has been shattered right now.
Some people speculate the bomb was hidden in the ground. That's because the blast left this crater more than 4 feet deep and spread hot shrapnel across a wide path, slicing into the flesh of nearby commuters. But government investigators insist a suicide car bomber caused the deadly explosion. Oladokun says most Nigerians believe the attack was the work of Boko Haram terrorists.
What is a little bit disconcerting, I guess confusing for a lot of Nigerians at the moment, is that there's no rhyme or reason to all of the attacks.
And this bombing indicates that Boko Haram's terrorism may now be entering a new phase, one where public facilities are targeted, in addition to churches and schools.
We need to pray that peace will reign, that the attackers will be exposed and apprehended, and that sanity and peace be restored in Nigeria.
Gary Lane, CBN News.
I want to update you now on a story we've been following for several months. Late last year, ethnic and political violence in South Sudan forced an American missionary couple to flee. Brad and Kim Campbell ran an orphanage sponsored by Charlotte, North Carolina-based ministries, Keeping Hope Alive. Though the couple tried desperately to take the 10 orphans out of the country with them, they were forced to leave the kids behind. Joining us now is Ferry Power, founder of Keeping Hope Alive. She joins us to tell us more about some new developments. Freddie, what's the latest?
Well, the children are out and they're safe, and God did this incredible miracle. And we didn't have anything to do with it. For 3 months, my staff and Kim and Brad Campbell traveling around Africa, calling everyone we could possibly call. And God got them out, and that's the story that's just going to be the miracle story.
Indeed. Tell us about some of the obstacles that had to be overcome for this to even happen.
Well, one thing, the children had to get out of Malakal, the war zone. And what happened was, the miracle that happened is we sent money in for Simon, the caretaker that was left with the children. And when we sent the money in, God laid on his heart to hold the money back and see if he could get a truck to get the orphans out to another town. And a truck was available, and we had, what is another miracle is we had thousands of people praying. Then when God laid on Simon's heart to keep the money back, which was just $800, he found a truck to take him, and not only him and the 9 orphans, but also another orphanage that was there, the base, and also a family, and they took them to the next town. And then Simon's money ran out in the next town. And I had a prayer group at my house, and this one of the people in my prayer group said, God's going to take care of these orphans, and he's going to cause a man to come up and ask them if he can help them. And that's exactly what happened. A man came up, asked him if he could take them to the next town, and he could pay, and they could pay him when they got there. Also, they could use the phone to call us to tell us that we needed help. Wow. They needed help.
Beautiful indeed, God does. I understand that one of our CBN viewers even played a part in this miracle. What happened there?
Well, when they got to the next town, Simon called and said, we need $2,000. And just a few days before that, this man writes me an email, and he says, I have a contribution to give you. Can I give it to you? And that's the first time that's ever happened, because we don't raise money or we don't ask for money. We just pray. And so when he wrote me, I said, okay, I'll write him back and tell him he could give through PayPal. And he sent me $2,000. And I went, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. But I did not know that I was going to need exactly $2,000 to get the orphans the rest of the way out of the country.
Wow.
And when Simon called, he said, can you send in $2,000? And immediately I could send it because I had it.
Going forward, what are your plans?
We're going to keep them there until the war stops in South Sudan. And then the children and Kim and Brad will go back to Malakal. And then I will meet them there, and we will feed people. And we will restore those people that have been so hurt during this war.
Beautiful. Freddie Power of Keeping Hope Alive Ministries, love you and all the work that you're doing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Coming up, identity theft, how thieves are developing new ways to steal your most personal information, even after you're dead.
You had a grandpa named Pop, right?
He died when I was your age.
I saw him in heaven.
What if an ordinary boy,
Is this him?
That's Pop.
Your son had a near-death experience.
discovered the answer to life's most extraordinary question?
Do you think my son went to heaven?
He told me everything was all right.
Based on the incredible true story.
We all want to be supportive.
I want to believe him. But everything he talks about is impossible.
Will you believe?
You saw heaven? It's beautiful.
Heaven is for real. See it this Easter. Rated PG.
Hi, I'm Wayne Allen Root, former presidential candidate, conservative national media personality, best-selling author, and true blue patriot. I call what we're living in today the Great Depression 2. More Americans now receive government entitlements than work full-time. The typical family earns less today than in 1989. I understand exactly what's happening to this economy and how you can protect yourself. So I sat down and taped a 30-minute DVD on the topic with all the critical steps needed to ensure Americans can both survive and thrive in 2014. It's called The Timeless Truth About Money. And it's only available in this special TV offer by calling the number below or by visiting online. Thanks to Swiss America, you'll finally understand the true goal of Obamacare, how our trillions in debt will sink the economy, and most importantly, why your golden years require a whole new golden strategy. Call now.
Start planning your journey to the Holy Land. Come to Jerusalem. Breathe the air Jesus breathed that very night in the Garden of Gethsemane. Walk in his footsteps to Golgotha. Step inside the tomb. See the stone where his body lay. Glory to God, he is risen. Ask your pastor or visit goisrael.com to learn more about making the journey that will transform your faith in God and his word. Experience Israel. You'll never be the same.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hey, kids, do you love games? And do you love discovering things? Well, do ya?
Then you're gonna love this. It's the new free Superbook Kids Bible app. You can play games, watch videos, find answers to your questions, and a whole lot more. The new Superbook Kids Bible app. Free downloads available on iTunes and Google Play now.
Identity theft is one of the fastest growing crimes in America, and it's not just your credit cards that they want. Thieves are after your government and medical information as well. And as one Ohio woman recently discovered, it can even include stealing the identity of someone who's dead. Heather Sells has the story.
While the family of Amy Reichheld mourned her death, the identity thieves got busy. Their strategy: simply spend $10 to purchase a copy of her death certificate.
Anyone can walk in and they don't, keep track of it. I said, really? And they said, yes, it's public record.
A fact Reichheld found shocking.
Her death might be public record, but all that information you're handing out for $10 is not public record.
Most death certificates contain the full name of the deceased, their address, and their date of birth. In this case, the thieves targeted almost a dozen victims and walked away with tens of thousands of dollars.
The bad guy in this case went onto the obituary section in the local paper, realized that someone was deceased and that they could access their death certificate. Once they accessed that information on the death certificate, they went to the Postal Service, filed a change of address form, and actually got the mail diverted from the deceased individual to their residence.
Evans says the thieves were able to make changes on credit cards and drain bank accounts. The victims' families lost thousands, and in one case couldn't even pay for the funeral.
It's a very kind of devious and fairly smart way of stealing somebody's identity because they're not there to care. Amy's not going to answer the phone and be like, "What? I didn't open this credit card. What are you talking about?"
Heather Sells, CBN News.
Up next, the generation that connected the world now has plans to revolutionize it. Hear how millennials are changing the way we work. Coming up next.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans. with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right. You could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
Baby boomers aren't the largest generation in U.S. history. That honor goes to millennials, those born between 1980 and 1995. Most of them don't know about a world without computers or even the internet. They're changing the workplace. And as millennial Caitlin Burke reports, it isn't always easy.
The struggle to bridge generation gaps is as old as time itself. And now the disconnect between millennials, their parents, and grandparents is one of the widest ever. Now this millennial generation is entering the workforce, and employers are finding that they're just different. Many of those differences are good, others are a little bit more challenging, but the majority stem from the millennials' immersion in technology. Whether it's networking, sharing information, or just keeping in touch, millennials often turn to social media.
Where I'm reviewing docs and I need to send a PDF real quick to me so I remember to edit that, or a client has an important document, I have an app on my phone that's great for that. You hear, because I follow all this social media, you hear about all of this innovation that can make the work process easier.
But to an older generation, constant use of social media looks like more of a distraction. As a consultant and professional speaker, Donia Story has looked out over her audience and found them focused on their phones instead of her.
It's pretty horrifying when you're on that stage or you're giving a presentation and you look and half of the audience is doing that thing that they're doing.
She later found out that while some of them may have been distracted, others were sharing her speech through Twitter. A simple miscommunication, but one that's becoming more common as older generations try to grasp this technology. Employers say they see the benefits of technology and how millennials use it in the workplace, but they also fear those benefits come at a cost.
The texting and communication without face-to-face seems to become problematic in the sense that our business depends on relationship building.
Experts agree. Author Dr. Tom Rainer's book, The Millennials, takes an in-depth look into the world's largest generation.
I believe that this will be one of the greatest challenges of the millennial generation going forward. There's never going to be a time that you can replace face-to-face conversation.
It's not surprising that this strength, a tech-savvy, multitasking approach, can also be a weakness. Dr. Rainer says employers should work with millennials on their shortcomings and never discredit their strengths. Take Mark and Alex, for example. Out of college, they started working with Manna Nutrition, a company that makes therapeutic food.
It's a peanut butter for children who are severely malnourished. And it's amazing because it can rapidly change the effects of severe malnutrition.
Their mission? Spread the word about Manna's therapeutic peanut butter.
We just stopped at churches and we stopped at colleges and high schools and anyone who would basically let us come in and talk.
Eventually, they decided they could do more.
It would make sense to create like a consumer product that is in a similar form. So people could buy this product and through that purchase be essentially doing their donation also.
We didn't have any money to start with. We didn't have a rich uncle. We didn't have peanut experience. But we had a good audience from the people who believed in Manna's mission and in our mission. So we started an online crowdfunding campaign.
Mark and Alex decided they would need about $65,000 to get their company off the ground.
People were really receptive and we overfunded. We raised about $70,000.
That was the start of their company, Good Spread.
Every time we sell a packet or a jar of our peanut butter, we give away these packets of therapeutic peanut butter to kids that are malnourished.
Not only did technology play a huge role in starting Mark and Alex's business, it's also helping them keep it going. Mark's based here in Nashville, and Alex is in Washington, D.C.
10 years ago, this would have never worked. But Alex and I, literally every day, it's like a long distance relationship. We can talk on the phone, we can video chat, we can text, and just within seconds, we can make decisions for our little peanut butter company.
In November, Good Spread sent its first batch overseas through a partnership with World Vision. The total? 33,000 packets. It's a business run the millennial way, and it's making a difference. Caitlin Burke, CBN News, Nashville, Tennessee.
Do you have an idea for an invention or a new product? Brian and Alice Jagosh, the inventors of the halftime drill driver, did. They invented a power drill attachment that lets you drill, flip, and drive in seconds. Brian and Alice licensed their invention to the company that brought you the Snuggie, and it's now selling in major retailers nationwide. Look for the InventHelp caveman on the package. If you have an invention that you would like to try to patent and submit to companies for possible review and want free information on how InventHelp may be able to assist you, call now. InventHelp is America's largest inventor service company with sales offices in more than 60 cities nationwide. Call InventHelp today for free information. Our clients made a financial gain with their invention, but this is just their individual result. Brian and Alice's experience is not typical, as only a very small number of inventions are licensed or sold in stores.
For your free inventors information, call 1-800-559-8567. That's 1-800-559-8567.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
It's not always easy to put yourself in the shoes of those suffering around you. That's why one San Francisco group is using video technology to offer a glimpse into the lives of the homeless. Adam Reichert has been homeless for 30 years. Recently, a group of sociologists picked him to be the center of the Homeless GoPro project. Every day, Adam documents his time on the streets using a GoPro video camera. The goal is to show others the hardships that homeless live.
It's a lot easier to be, I guess, best way to put it is just to be cold or, have less feelings when you're typing something than when you look at someone in the eye. Average right now is like 40 hours of waiting in a line to get a bed for one night. People don't realize the stuff like that, Go and get lunch, hour and a half, 2 hours.
At the core, what we're trying to do, get a better understanding of the stories, what's happening, so that we can innovate new ideas on how to use these services better.
The Homeless GoPro project aims at creating more compassion for the homeless community. The project plans to release a new video every week.
Good day, folks.
You can find a link to its website at cbnnews.com. That is going to do it for now here on CBN News Today. Make it a wonderful Wednesday, everybody.
Inside every child is a hero, a leader, a friend to others, someone who helps out, who does the right thing, who dreams of what they can be, but they still need our help.
What should I do? What should I say? How should I feel?
That's where Superbook comes in. It provides moral and spiritual truths through situations children can relate to, teaching God's Word to the children you love. Join the Superbook DVD Club and receive Superbook's newest episodes as they're available, plus 2 copies to share with others, all for your gift of only $25. Get Superbook today and watch the miracles happen.
Every
Every day, people are connecting on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Now you can be part of the conversation and connect on topics you care about through 700 Club Interactive. Log on to Facebook, Twitter, or go to YouTube and share your opinions, your prayer requests, and your videos while making friends in our community.
Well, welcome to the show.
Join the conversation on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. 700 Club Interactive. Be a part of the show.